welcome to the MetaMask Snaps workshop, everyone. Thank you for being here with me today. My name is Ziad Saab. I'm the developer advocate for MetaMask Snaps. So my role is to help the developers to get started working with Snaps, to get started hacking, whether it's on our bounties or whether you're going to make a production project. And I prepared a little workshop today for you. You don't have to use your laptop or anything. You just have to listen to me and breathe. And I see there's a lot more people who just came. So for the new people who have arrived, we're doing a MetaMask Snaps workshop. Welcome. Thank you for being here. And just before you arrived, we were doing a little stretch. So if you want to stretch, don't hesitate. It's going to make you feel more focused. It's always nice. All right. And all right, let's get started. Before we do, I have a few QR codes for you, okay? This QR code is for our developer chat, not just for MetaMask Snaps, but for all the consensus products. Okay, that's MetaMask Snaps, SDK, Linea, all our products. So this will give you to our Telegram chat. Scan this QR code. I will give you 30 seconds to do that. See, there's a lot more people coming. Hello, welcome. Make yourself at home. This is a QR code for our developer chat. And 1, 2, 3, I'm going to change the slide very soon. And this is another QR code. This one is for this presentation, okay? So this is a QR code of the presentation that you're watching. I'm giving this to you because there's some resources at the end you can click on. There's a lot of links for documentation, and also that you have my face, my beautiful photo here. So this is QR code for this presentation that we're watching right now. Also take a few seconds to scan it. And if for some reason you can't scan it, you can come see me later and I will give you any information you want. All right? Good? All right, let's do this. So we're talking about snaps here. And I'm going to talk to you about our bounties later. But first, I'd like to let you know a little bit, for those who don't know, what is MetaMask Snaps? Okay? Some people will tell you, plugins, extensions. This is how I like to talk about MetaMask Snaps. It's community-built features for MetaMask. Okay? Who's the community? You guys, everyone. Okay? And why are we doing this? So that you can extend the wallet, add new features to it in a permissionless way. Anyone can start working on Snaps today. And we have a lot of bounties I will show you later. And now I'm going to tell you a little bit about what are some of the things that you can do with Snaps. Okay? So we're going to talk about some of the features that you have available to you in order to develop with Snaps. The first one, this is the biggest one, it's very important, is you can derive private keys for any protocol. Okay? So that means today you can manage Bitcoin, you can manage Solana, you can manage all kinds of assets in MetaMask. It's not anymore just Ethereum wallet. Okay? We have all these snaps are available today live in our store. snaps.metamask.io. You can go, you can install these snaps, and you can start playing with them and managing other types of assets. I have a video here. I don't know if it's going to work because the network is a little bit slow. We're going to try it. And this video is showing me using the Bitcoin snap that we have on our store. So you can make Bitcoin transactions, you have a confirmation window, all of that is using the secure enclave of MetaMask Snaps to manage the signing of the transaction. And then you have a dApp that is showing you the wallet for Bitcoin. And it's very exciting. As I said, snaps.metamask.io, you can go there and you can install all these snaps today live in your extension. Next feature. Also very important. I can't say that every feature is the most important. Otherwise, you're going to think like, what is this guy talking about? But we have a lot of snaps that are being built today to add security into the wallet. Okay, MetaMask is already very secure, but sometimes, you're very excited, you get a Twitter link or something, it says like, I don't know, like mint this token or whatever, you don't know what's going on, you want to do it very quickly. And you click confirm, and then suddenly all your assets are drained, right? We can have the most secure wallet possible, but that's not going to prevent some user errors, okay? So what is this feature? We call it transaction insights, okay? So you can create a snap, just basic JavaScript code, basically, that will receive the transaction before the user clicks confirm, okay? So you have access to the transaction object and you can do whatever you want. You can call some private APIs, you can run some simulations, and you can present to the user an interface, and you can tell them maybe like, oh, you should not execute this transaction, this will drain your wallet, or this address you're about to send funds to is known to be a malicious address. And this is an example. It seems that we have a pretty good connection here. So let's look at this video. We have a test dApp where I'm trying to make a malicious ETH transfer, and in the transaction window you have block fence, which is one of the snaps that we have available in our store today that is showing me that it's a bad transaction. And it's very simple to create a transaction inside Snap. You create a piece of JavaScript code that has an on-transaction export, and you get access to the transaction object, and you can do any kind of operation you want on it. Like I said, you call your APIs, you do some simulations, and then you request the permission to run those insights, and you can do a lot of things with that. If you want to look at some examples again, snaps.metamask.io, you can get some inspiration of all the snaps that are available today. And we really hope that you build on top of these features. We have some really great bounties for you today. You have a question? Yeah. Okay. Is it possible to execute this on approval transaction? Is it possible? No, you mean for ERC20 transfers? When you need to approve a transaction, can you run insights there? Yes, this is what those insights are for. No, we still don't have insights for ERC20 transfers. We have insights for regular transactions, and we just launched a new feature where we have signature insights. So when you have a pop-up for signing, just for signing a message, we have insights for that now. And we are working to add insights for allowances for ERC20, but we don't have it yet, but it's coming. There's a lot of features that are coming, and there's a link that I'm going to give you also at the end that is another Telegram chat where we put all the announcements. Every time there's a new Snaps feature, we will put it there so you know that it's available. And there's a lot of very exciting APIs that are coming. Super, super exciting for account abstraction, MPC, a lot of very exciting things on the way. Thank you for your question. Please feel free to ask questions at any time. You don't need to wait until the end. Cool. All right, let's keep moving. So, apart from these two APIs that I just mentioned, right? We have a lot of supporting APIs, things that you're going to need to build your Snap, right? So we have encrypted storage. You can add some data inside your Snap, and it's really cool because it will be available across all the websites, right? So you can do some really interesting things with that. Confirmation dialogues, cron jobs. So a lot of people ask us, do you have WebSockets in Snaps? WebSockets are not available, but you can run JavaScript code on a cron job on the clock every minute or whenever you want. You can pull some data and give the user some insight about their NFTs, about their anything that they want to monitor. You can do a lot of things with that. And another really cool feature that we launched very recently, which is localization. So you can make your Snap available in the language that the user chose in their MetaMask extension. And it's very easy to do. Super easy. You can localize everything you want in the MetaMask UI. And there's a lot more to come. So now you know what you can do with Snaps. You want to know how to get started? It takes 5 seconds to get started to create a Snap, okay? First, you install Flask. What is Flask? Flask is MetaMask, but for developers. So it's the same extension that you already know, except it has a purple fox icon instead of an orange fox icon. And you can use Snaps in it without needing to be on our allow list, right? Currently, Snaps is working on an allow list model. So before your Snap can be installed by users in the main extension, it needs to be audited and we need to approve it. But you're at the hackathon now. You want to start hacking on Snaps. You don't have time to do an audit and for us to approve you. So you install MetaMask Flask and you install it in a new browser profile. You cannot install it in the same extension as MetaMask. And this will allow you to develop Snaps, right? You're going to use a new set of private keys. You don't want to use your precious private keys with Flask, but this is the first step. So you install the developer preview of MetaMask. Step 2, you go to your command line, you run yarn create @metamask/snap, the name of your Snap. Okay, don't start taking notes. The presentation will be available to you later, and I will be available to you as well. Okay, so this is very easy. It's like a create React app, right? You just run this command line. It's going to clone our template, and then you can immediately get started. And we have a development server available for you. So that's the third and last step. You just go into the directory that you just created. You run yarn start. And what happens when you run yarn start? You're going to get this. I'm going to make the font size a little bit larger. Don't worry about it. I'm coming for you. All right, here you go. So you're going to get a development server that will run. And it's going to run 2 servers at the same time. One server will be running on localhost 8000. The other one will be running on localhost 8080. Okay? So what happens with that? So you're developing, right? So you don't want to have to recompile manually every time. Same thing as a React app, right? Your snap is basically just a bunch of static JavaScript code. So in production, you host your snap on NPM. But while you're developing, we have a server available for you, localhost 8080, and every time you make change to the snap code, it's going to automatically recompile that code. And the other server running on localhost 8000, that's a DApp. It's just a regular app that we built using React, and that makes it easy for you to test your snap. Okay, you don't have to use this DApp in production, but it's already wired up to do everything for installing the snap, for reloading the snap when you make changes to it, and it has some example code for how to communicate between a DApp and a snap, right? So how does it work? It's very simple. When you load the localhost 8000, you're going to be presented with an interface that's very familiar. I'm going to keep making the font size bigger until we can actually see something here. You're going to be presented with something that's very familiar. Anyone who uses MetaMask is already used to having the Connect MetaMask button, except in this case, when a user will press the Connect to MetaMask button, it will ask for, I hope I remember my password. It's not my real password. All right. And so what it will do is it will ask for a connection request to install the snap. I'm going to try to make this also a little bit larger so you can see what's going on here. So basically it's saying this website, this DApp, wants to connect to a snap hosted this time on localhost 8080. In production, it's going to say the NPM package of the snap. And then you say connect, and what do you see next? You're going to see the permissions that the snap is requesting. Okay, so this is very important. We're going to stop here for a second and look at this. Snaps are not allowed to do anything by default. They can't communicate to the network. They cannot bring up dialog windows. They cannot do anything that the snap will want to do, deriving private keys, asking for transaction insights. The snap needs to ask for permission in order to be able to do that. And this is what this dialog is showing here. It's showing that this DApp wants to install a snap called TypeScript example, and the snap is asking for some permissions to display dialog windows and to allow websites to communicate with the snap, right? So snaps can expose an API, and for example, we saw me interacting with the Bitcoin snap earlier, right? So the Bitcoin snap exposed an API that allows me to send transactions, to sign transactions, to check my balance, to do all of these things. And it has to request permission for all these things, right? So before we move on, how do you request these permissions? Well, it's very simple. In the code of your snap, we're gonna look at a little bit of code later, but in the code of your snap, you have a file. It's a manifest file. If you've ever developed extensions for Chrome or for any other kind of plugins, there's a manifest file that contains all the information, all the data of your extension, of your plugin. And Snaps is no different. And as part of this manifest file, we list all the permissions that the snap wants to use, right? Like if my snap needed to make a network request, if it needed to connect to the network, I would add a new permission here. It's called endowment network access. So you would add this permission here, and then the fetch function that you're all familiar with if you develop with JavaScript will suddenly be available to your snap. If you don't have this permission, you can try to use fetch. It's not going to work. It's going to tell you that it's blocked. And this way your users will know that your snap is trying to, is needing to connect to the internet. Just like permissions on the apps on your phone, anything. And anything that you do in your snap, you need to request a permission. So when I click install, the snap is going to be fetched. It's going to be installed in my extension. And now the code that we give you for this demo dApp is automatically going to detect that the snap is installed and is going to change the interface. And I can just show you an example. If I click this send message button, what's going to happen is the dApp is going to communicate with the snap through its RPC API, and it's going to pop up a dialog window here. This dialog window that you see here is coming from the snap, right? You can see that it says TypeScript example at the top, which is the name of this snap. And it's just a regular confirmation dialog. You can use it before signing a transaction on behalf of your users. You can use it for doing anything you want. And this is just some sample code, right? So if I click approve or reject, nothing is going to happen right now. But this is the sample code that we give you, that we make available to you. All right, so we still have quite a bit of time. I'd like to show you, since you're going to start developing with snaps, I'd like to show you how you can debug your snaps, right? Inevitably, you're going to run into some problems when you're developing your snaps. You're going to get an error, and you're going to be like, okay, well, what's going on? I don't see any output. And the first thing we do as developers, what do? We open the developer tools, which are also super small, all right? We open the developer tools, and if you open your developer tools and you go in the console here, you're not going to see any errors that are coming from the snap code. Why? Because the snap is running inside of the MetaMask extension, okay? So how do you debug the MetaMask extension? Very simple. The way I do it is I will right-click on the icon of the extension. I will go under Manage Extension. I will make sure that I am in developer mode here, which I have to enable. And once you enable developer mode, you can inspect the background.html view. It's going to open another developer tools here. And in this console is where you're going to see the output of the errors or the console logs that you make inside your snap. I'm going to make one very quickly just to show you how, when you make changes to your snap, because you're going to be doing that, how you can reload those changes and make sure that you have the latest code available. All right. So this is going to also allow me to show you a little bit where all the code is. Right. So this is the code that gets created when you run our yarn create command. Is it somewhat clear? Like it looks very small from, yeah, it looks a little bit small, but I can't make it any larger. Otherwise, we're just not going to see anything. All right, so this is set up as a yarn repository with workspaces. And you have two packages. You have a site package, which is, like I said, it's a regular React dApp. It's built using Gatsby. You don't need to use any part of it, but you can just look at it to see what are all the snaps functions that you can use in order to install a snap, in order to call its RPC API and all that. We're not really going to go through it. And then you have the snap package, which is all your snap source code. And we already looked at the manifest file, which contains the permissions, the name of your snap and whatnot. And then you have your regular source directory. And really the only file that you need is an index.ts, right? Now, if you start developing a big snap, I'm not going to tell you, but you're going to modularize your code. You're going to have a lot of files with a lot of modules. But really the only important thing is that your code, if you need to expose an RPC API, is going to, your index.ts file is going to export a function called onRPCRequest. This is how we know that you want to expose an RPC API. And this is when I clicked on send message earlier and it popped up this dialog window, this is the code that pops the dialog window, right? We have a global snap object with a request function, and we have a snap dialog function, and there's many types of dialog. There's confirmation, there's a prompt dialog, all sorts of types of dialogs. Everything is very well documented in our documentation, which is linked at the end of this presentation. And all right, so let's just make a little change here, okay? So I'm gonna assign this to a variable. I'm gonna say result equals await, and then I have to make the function async here, and then I'm gonna just console log the result, and then I'm gonna return it. Okay, so we can see what's the result of doing a dialog, and I'm gonna say result, and then I'm just gonna return true here. And I don't know why it's bothering me. Okay, well, whatever, it doesn't matter. I like to do lexical declaration in case blocks. I don't care. I will just disable the rule later. But this is not going to prevent anything from happening. So we're changing the snaps codes. First thing you can see is that the snap code was rebundled automatically in the terminal output. You can see that it was rebundled automatically, but I still have the old version of the snap installed in my browser, right? So I have to reinstall the snap. How do I do that? Very easy. We have a reconnect button that we made available to you. All it does is it just reinstalls the snap. So it's the same thing again. Maybe there's some new permissions, so we still need to show you this dialog. And then I click install, and I have the new version of the snap with the console log that was just installed now, okay? So we still have this other developer tools that is running here. And now if I click send message, and we still get this dialog, confirmation dialog window. So let's say I click reject, for example, and then we'll see here a console log coming from the snap, and it says result false. So this is the result of bringing up a confirmation dialog and clicking on the reject option. And you can imagine that if I click on the approve option instead, then I'm going to get somewhere result true right here. So this is how you debug a snap, right? You just put console logs anywhere you want, and then you open the background.html developer tools window, and you can see any errors, you can see stack traces or anything you want. So far, so good? No questions? Amazing, I love that. All right, let's keep going. So we know how to create a snap. We know what are all the supporting features of snaps. What do we do next? Well, now you can start hacking on snaps. So let's talk about our bounties. We have $10,000 of snaps bounties available. In total, in consensus, we have $20,000 of bounties. I'll talk about all of them later. But for snaps specifically, we created 2 bounties for you. One of them is you build any snap. Okay, we don't even want to limit you. Just build anything you want. Make sure it's innovative. Make sure that it's functional, that it works, that we can test it once you're going to submit it to us and present it. But you can do anything you want. Add a new blockchain. Add 3 new blockchains if you want. I don't care. The more you do, the better. Increase safety by adding some transaction insights. We have some really good APIs for that. Decentralized identity, communication. We have a snap called Wallet Chat that does wallet-to-wallet communication. It's really, really cool, and it has notifications built in. So impress us. The sky is the limit, really. We really want you to build something cool. Yes?
The question about snaps and account abstraction.
Yes.
So is it possible to have your account abstraction smart contract wallet inside the MetaMask and connect this to the protocol as a Uniswap or something to use?
Okay, the question is, can you create an account abstracted account inside MetaMask and use it as any regular MetaMask account? Okay, soon, very soon. I cannot wait. I cannot wait to come to a conference and to be able to tell you, yes, we have this available. Okay, we have the accounts team at MetaMask that is working on an API called the Accounts API for Snaps. Today, it's available, but only to create like MPC accounts or other kinds of like custom EVM accounts that are fully plugged into MetaMask. And like you said, you can connect them to Uniswap, you can do it, they're fully integrated in MetaMask. Soon, this same feature will allow you to create 4337 accounts that can return a user operation, and we will submit it to a bundler, and everything will be magic and it will work perfectly. And I cannot wait for this feature to be live. But we need to put security first, and these things take a lot of time. But today you can still create account abstraction snaps, but they will be a little bit less integrated. Thank you, Colin.
Is it worth it right now if you're doing the same properly in a couple of months?
Is it worth it to build an account abstraction snap right now since it's not going to be fully integrated into MetaMask?
Yeah. Because we are doing what to do and what could improve our project as well.
I understand. I would say that it's still worth it because a lot of the logic that you're going to use is still going to be reusable once we implement that feature directly into MetaMask. Another reason why I would say that it's worth it is because you're going to be one of the first to be doing this, right? So once we do have account abstraction available inside the Accounts API, a lot of eyes are going to be on you because you're going to be at the forefront. You're going to be developing something that nobody has developed before. So I would say it's worth it. And if you're doing it especially for the hackathon, that's going to impress the judges. So 3 things that would tell me that it's worth it. Question.
Is this bounty specific to the hackathon, or is it also something that's going to continue after?
This bounty is for the ETHGlobal Istanbul hackathon. At every hackathon, we have different kinds of bounties, but this one is for this hackathon. All right. And the second bounty, I have 5 minutes. The second bounty is not about building a snap. We have a lot of snaps already available, like I mentioned, on snaps.metamask.io, and a lot of them are interoperable. They're composable, right? You can create a dApp that uses an existing snap. Like we have a Maska snap for creating decentralized identities. We have the Starknet snap, Solana snap, and you can build a dApp that is using one of these snaps. All your dApp needs to do is install the snap, just like you have in the example dApp, and then you can start building a dApp that's doing, I don't know, NFTs, DeFi, that's using Solana or whatever, and you can use one of those snaps to do that, and you can win $5,000 if you are able to impress us with such a bounty. I have a list of all the snaps here that are useful to build upon, and there's a lot of them. And they're also listed in the official bounty text on the ETHGlobal Istanbul website. Question?
Yeah, last time I checked, there was a security feature that you could not deviate the Ethereum address.
That's correct. So the question is a snap I showed earlier is able to derive private keys. You can derive Bitcoin keys from the seed phrase of the user and all that, but we do not allow derivation of Ethereum keys, right? Ethereum is coin type number 60 in the SLIP 44 specification, and we don't allow that because that would be deriving the same keys as MetaMask, and for the moment we deem that to be a security issue. So unfortunately, you're not allowed to derive keys for coin type 60.
What's the pattern?
Pardon?
What's the pattern? You create a new public address for the user then and show this is your address from now on?
Yeah. Yeah, pretty much. That's exactly what you would do. You would create a new address and show them that this is your public key. They can export their private key if they want to. And I don't have a lot of time left. I will be available later if you have more questions. But there's a bunch of resources. I'm not going to go through them. There's videos. There's links. I will put the QR code again if you want to see it, so you can go to them. @ZiadMTL is my Telegram, and I showed you earlier the Telegram chat for us. Yes, this QR code. And what else? Okay, so we have a bunch of other bounties, right? Consensus is a big company. We have a lot of products available. One of them is the MetaMask SDK, which allows you as a developer to put up a QR code for the user so that they can connect their MetaMask mobile to your dApp very easily and with a very, very fast connection. It's actually a little bit better than using Wallet Connect. And we have a $5,000 bounty where all you have to do is use the MetaMask SDK inside of your dApp. And the last one is a Linea bounty, right? Linea is a EVM-compatible layer 2 for Ethereum. And you have $5,000 bounty. All you need to do is deploy your dApp on Linea, okay? You can deploy it on any other L2, I don't care. But if you deploy it on Linea, you can be part of our bounty, right? The fact that it's an easy bounty means that you're going to have to impress us with the quality of your project, obviously. And all of our team is going to be available to help you with that. We have Colin, our director, who's wearing the blue hat in the back. That's Colin. And Eric is not here. We have Lauren, who's sitting right here. And there's me also. My name is Ziad. And our booth, okay, is like the easiest to notice because it's the biggest and brightest and shiniest booth. It has a big TV. And it's all the way in the corner in the back of the hacking area. So you come to see us if you want to chat, if you want to talk about bounties, about L2s, about anything you want related to Web3 or not Web3. And we'll be happy to give you some swag and to talk to you. And I want to thank you very much for being here with us today. Happy hacking and have a good time.